Omar Chandler, Lesson 3. How you doing, class?
Good.
In the previous lesson, we discussed perimeters and areas. Today, we'll be learning about right triangles and Pythagorean theory. Today is special because we're going to use calculators to pull those out, as well as a piece of paper and your pencils and your eraser. I know this sounds hard and complicated, but we will go over the parts of a right triangle as well as how to solve the formula for the Pythagorean theorem. We'll be using a worksheet. Can someone pass out the worksheet for me? Thanks. Before we begin the lesson, let's go over the vocabulary words. Who would like to go over number 1?
Number 1, right triangle. A triangle containing an angle of 90 degrees.
Good job. Would someone like to read vocabulary word number 2?
Pythagorean theorem. Used to find side lengths or the hypotenuse of right triangles. This formula for the Pythagorean theorem states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the squares of the two sides, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is the hypotenuse.
Good job. Thanks a lot. First, we start the lesson with learning about the right triangle. Take a look at example number 1, guys. Can anyone tell me the degrees of one of the angles of a right triangle?
90 degrees.
Good job. Can you write it on the board to show the class? Good job. From the looks of the right triangle, it looks like it forms the corner of a square. Okay, now let's learn a little bit more about the right triangle. We will go over the names of the right triangle together. Let's take a look at example number 2 on the worksheet. Listen very closely. The side opposite the right side in a right angle triangle is the hypotenuse. Who wants to go to the board and point out the hypotenuse for me?
The hypotenuse is c.
Good job. Listen very closely again. The other side of the right triangle are called legs. The side opposite of the hypotenuse is side A, and the side adjacent to the hypotenuse is side B. Being able to identify each side is very important for learning the Pythagorean theorem. Before we move on, does anyone have any questions?
No.
Now we can go on. Well, we can move on and learn about the Pythagorean theorem. Let me write this formula down for you guys. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The Pythagorean theorem states that the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum squared of the legs of a right triangle. The worksheet gives us 2 examples of how the Pythagorean theorem works. Let's work through example 3 and 4 together, guys, and then you can solve the last 2 on your own. Example 3 gives leg A as being 6 centimeters and leg B as being 7 centimeters. Who wants to go to the board and solve the hypotenuse for example 3? Tracy.
Six squared plus 7 squared equals 13 squared. 6 squared equals 36 plus 7 squared, which is 49. And that equals 13 squared, which is 169 centimeters squared. And 169 centimeters squared is equal to 13 centimeters.
Good job. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
How she did that?
Yes.
All right, look at example 4. Example 4 gives leg A as being 2 centimeters and leg B as 7 centimeters. Who wants to go to the board and find the hypotenuse for example number 4? Teresa.
Okay. 2 squared plus 7 squared equals 9 squared. 2 squared is 4 plus 7 squared is 49 equals 9 squared, which is 81. 81 squared equals 9.
Good job. Now that wasn't so hard at all, was it, guys?
No.
Now to complete the lesson, I will have you work on your own with the last two problems, and you can pull out your calculators, guys. Does anyone have any questions about the right triangle
No.
or the Pythagorean theorem?
No.
Thanks a lot.